You guys might have already guessed that Ubisoft has once again screwed up something big this time, and yes lads, there is something huge that I think a lot of people from the old school Assassin's Creed community who were excited for Assassin's Creed Mirage are going to be a little bit disappointed with what I am about to say and what Ubisoft has basically come up with a brand new idea in order to destroy what the groundbreaking, going back to the roots kind of a thing that Ubisoft just made up with Assassin's Creed Mirage. It seems like Ubisoft is not actually going back to its full roots as to what the old school Assassin's Creed games basically represented. Because remember, when Assassin's Creed Valhalla was announced, Ubisoft said the same thing, where they said that Valhalla was going to be the most grounded Assassin's Creed game. We're not going to have any kind of supernatural things, and even if we do, then there is going to be some kind of an explanation as to why it happened, like a dream sequence or something like that. And things basically started escalating from just a dream sequence all the way to the game completely turning into an RPG mythological Witcher style of a game, which I think a lot of fans started hating on Valhalla after they enjoyed the game personally when it came out. Well, if you do take a look at the deluxe edition of Assassin's Creed Mirage, Ubisoft has announced that you will now be able to get an outfit pack which will include an outfit, eagle, mount skin, and weapons, and more are going to be available for the deluxe pack here. Now the problem is not the skin, the problem is not the outfit. Now the biggest problem here that we guys are going to be facing is how they are making the horse look completely fantasy based. Now although this entire skin is based on Prince of Persia, I honestly think that Ubisoft could have kept this grounded with going back to the roots and keeping this game as realistic as possible as what they've said so far. And when you use the weapon, you're most likely going to produce some kind of supernatural power thingy that's going to do more damages, or maybe it's going to put your enemies in shock, or they're going to start burning on fire, or whatever kind of fantasy bullshit that Ubisoft is just introducing right here. And me being an old school Assassin's Creed fan, I think this is utter bullshit, and I think this is going to be the first step that Ubisoft is going to be introducing a lot of fantasy and unrealistic supernatural power fulfilled weapons, skins, and all that stuff into the game. And this is how Assassin's Creed Mirage will basically turn from a grounded realistic game into a complete garbage where it's just filled with a bunch of magical elements, pretty much like what we have seen with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where it was pretty much a normal Viking game with a lot of core mechanisms based on realistic features. And slowly over time, Ubisoft started introducing a lot of these fantasy skins, and then they started introducing fantasy weapons which you could buy from the Ubisoft Uplay store using real life money. And these weapons can do some extraordinary things, like you can even call in airstrikes if you use the supernatural spear and get enough amount of damage, which makes you feel like you're probably playing a Call of Duty where you have these kill streaks calling in for air support and stuff like that. I don't know why Ubisoft wants to do these bullshits with Assassin's Creed game. And now that they've promised that Mirage is going to be a game where the core gameplay mechanism is going to be based on realism and going back to the roots of what the basic Assassin's Creed games represented, but it seems like that's not going to be the case anymore, because as soon as I got to take a look at the Prince of Persia inspired deluxe pack, now although the entire skin pack is not something that I'm worried about, the things that I am personally worried about is the fantasy and the magical things that they're adding into the game, which could basically just destroy how Assassin's Creed Mirage is building its reputation from the day one of launch. It's going to completely change. It's going to have a lot of different stupid stuff added into the game. And I personally think, lads, that if we as fans do not speak up right now, if us community members do not let Ubisoft know that we are not okay with this magical stuff, and if we keep supporting them and buying these microtransactions, which includes magical stuff, then I think Ubisoft is obviously going to get encouraged in order to make more content like these for the post-launch of the game, and it is pretty much going to get destroyed into a fantasy magical RPG game, which is not something that the community wants as of now, as far as what I personally know and as far as what I've been seeing with the feedbacks. So please, lads, go down in the comments and let Ubisoft know that we are not okay with Assassin's Creed Mirage being turned into a fantasy magical stupid game. We want this game to be sticking to its roots and sticking to the ground base and going back to what the old school Assassin's Creed games represented, where you only had different types of realistic outfits and stuff like that. I mean, there is nothing wrong in adding different skins and even selling skins on the stores, but try to keep it realistic, because we're not playing some kind of Fortnite where you have all of these different fantasy animations going on with magical powers and stuff like that, or nor is this a Witcher game where you have magics involved. This is an Assassin's Creed game where you're playing memories of your ancestors. So I honestly think that it would be great if Ubisoft could kind of like respect the values of the the history that they're trying to follow here, rather than just adding all of these bullshit into the game and completely destroying the immersion that I am looking forward to from Assassin's Creed Mirage from the eyes of a fan's perspective. So I would love to know what you guys think. Let them know in the comments, lads. If you think that you're not liking it, let Ubisoft know about your opinions down below in the comments, because all the developers from Ubisoft are going to be watching this video. So anyone from Ubisoft might end up reading some of your comments, so this would absolutely help in order to show them what the community basically wants and what we don't. So please, people, I really ask every single one of you guys to go ahead and show your feedbacks in the comments, and also drop a like on this video if you do agree with me that Assassin's Creed games should get rid of these fantasy and unrealistic magical elements from the game and just stick to what the realistic games used to be back in those days. I mean, RPG and stuff is cool, but still try to stick with the realism, which I think is honestly going to bring back all the reputation that Assassin's Creed games have been losing lately. So if you guys do go on and agree with me, then leave a like on this video, because that is how Ubisoft is going to know that you guys support this movement. And also, like you guys already know, I will always keep you guys updated with all the latest information that you guys need to know about Assassin's Creed, and all the upcoming open world games will be available right here first on my channel. So make sure to go ahead and subscribe to my channel and turn the notifications on. And the most important step of all, even if you have subscribed, even if you have turned the notifications on, make sure that you guys are setting the notification settings to all, because if you don't do that, then the Broadcast YouTube platform, they just do not send you guys the notifications of my daily videos. So make sure you guys do it. And with that being said, lads, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope that Ubisoft kind of watches this video and gets feedback from the community, so they could make the game better than what it already is, or maybe whatever they're trying to do with the game. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye, amigos.